If you can't tell by the cultural disrespectful cactus rocking the sombrero, it is Cinco de Mayo up in this bitch. Nah, I'm just playing. It was a couple days ago. But today on Ian vs. Daddybones, we're talking about Free Comic Book Day swag.
Oh boy, kids, we're gonna have fun today.
Yeah! Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Welcome back. It's another exciting episode of Ian vs. Daddybones. I'm Ian Daddybones. I'd like to welcome everybody to the show. Say what's up to all the YouTube subscribers. Special high five and a nut dap to all the Patreon subscribers. Throwing me $1 once a month for 30 days of bonus content, including the freshly uploaded, about to drop on Mother's Day, Evil Lynn Masterverse Mother's Day special. I did that last week in addition to the DC Superpowers episode. I got that done taken care of last week. So Mother's Day, the Evil Lynn Mother's Day special is going to be available for all the Patreon subscribers. So again, you know, this show's for free on YouTube, but if you throw me $1 on the Patreon, at this point, we're almost 30 episodes into Ian vs. Daddybones. There is over 20 bonus content videos for you to check out exclusively on the Patreon. So it definitely works out in your favor a lot better than whatever loser dollar scratch-off ticket you didn't win on. But today on the show, I'm going to do things a little different. I'm not exactly talking about an action figure on this episode. I'm not talking about toys. I am going to talk about a toy real quick because according to my clock, I have 45 minutes to get ready for the newest Mattel Creations Masters of the Universe drop that is taking place today. It's not an exclusive Mattel Creations Origins figure. It is not an exclusive Mattel Creations Masterverse figure. It is an exclusive Mattel Creations Mega Blocks, Mega Constructs, whatever you want to fucking call it, because they changed the name so many times over the years. But as of right now, it's Mega, which is Mattel's competitor to Lego. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, then you've already checked out the video around the holiday season last year when I was putting together the Mega Castle Grayskull transformation bridge. And it's in that same line, same scale as their other Mega stuff. But they announced last week that dropping today, they are doing Mega Eternia. Now, for those of you new to the show, when Ian vs. Daddybones started and the Patreon went live, you know, in my head, since I was starting off with this new podcast and this new venture, you know, right now I don't have a lot of bonus content available, but as I keep chugging along down the tracks with Ian vs. Daddybones, as I grow in episodes on the YouTube channel, I'm going to be growing in bonus content that's going to be available on the Patreon for the Patreon subscribers. So everybody who's been subscribed to the Patreon since the very beginning, including all the new people that have been casually subscribing as I've been going along, thank you very much. I love all of you guys. Basically, the Patreon subscribers have been dealing with all the new shit as it drops. So everybody that's subscribed in the beginning who is still there, and they're all there still, they've been enjoying the episodes and the content as it's been new, but if you watching the show right now are brand new to subscribing to my Patreon, you will see on all the entire freaking feed of posts, all the videos, all the bonus content that's available. So I did a video where I built that Mega Transformation Castle Grayskull bridge. Because it was basically the front skull face facade of Castle Grayskull. It came in a collector's box that opened up that basically showed the rest of Castle Grayskull. So it's basically like, I don't want to say Lego because it's Mega, but it's like a Mega block front of Castle Grayskull that sits in front of a picture of Castle Grayskull that's not made out of Mega blocks. And it has this little turn knob on the side of it. So Prince Adam stands on the bridge and you flip the switch and the drawbridge flips over and he basically transforms from Prince Adam to He-Man. So basically ever since the very beginning of the Patreon, when we started this show, my wife gave me the green light to crowdfund Eternia, which is currently in production, and the crowdfund was I believe from October to November. They had 30 days to raise enough funds for Eternia to go into production. My wife and I made it work. I'm locked in with Eternia. Like, I wasn't able to pay for it in full. What I wound up doing was I got it approved through a loan, through a financing system, and so it has my name on it. I put a down payment on it, and I've been making monthly payments on the Eternia playset. So as of this point right now, I've been taking care of December, January, February, March, April. I just made May's payment last week. So right now, I already got 6 payments plus the initial down payment on the motherfucker. And at this point, Eternia is, I have less than, I mean, for this $550 playset that they added $100 on top of for shipping and taxes and whatnot, at the end of the day, we are down to under the final $250. So basically, once I get this shit down to like the final $150, I'm just going to take care of it in one final payment and be done with it. And then I get to wait patiently until spring of next year when it gets shipped to me. So I'm giving them the money in advance, give it as a good faith payment that I have trust, and I feel confident that y'all are going to come through for all of us who have financed this, just like other people who have funded other and participated in other Mattel crowdfund drops. Like, for example, they just had a WWE Ultimate Edition WCW Monday Nitro set that was literally, it was smaller than Eternia, but it was still a pretty big fucking play set that they were trying to crowdfund for $400. And basically, if they hit like 10,000 backers on it, you were gonna walk away with like the Nitro play set and like 5 additional figures that were gonna come with it, and new characters would be unlocked and added as you know, they knocked off 5,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, you know what I mean? So unfortunately, not all crowdfunds are successful, and it was quite disappointing to see this weekend, waking up Saturday morning and seeing that they were unsuccessful with the WCW Monday Nitro entrance set. It's not getting made, and from what I read, because it was unsuccessful, for everybody that bought into it, that literally paid in full to get theirs, Mattel's got to refund like $1.4 million just on WCW Monday Nitro buy-ins and people that secured their spots. And unfortunately, it didn't go through, but it has me having a lot more appreciation that Eternia was a success. And the fact that Eternia made it, they didn't make it to the 10,000 to include everything. Like, you were supposed to get Eternian Eldar Keklar. You were supposed, if you backed it in the first week, you got King Grayskull, but he was actually re-added as a final week perk. If they hit the 10,000 mark, everybody gets King Grayskull and Keklar. But at the 7,000 mark, they unlocked Modi, the Moat Monster. And so it has me being very thankful and more appreciative at the fact that Eternia was a successful, because I mean, Eternia almost hit the 10,000, and that's just Masters of the Universe. You know what I mean? It's kind of disappointing, and I'm not trying to shit on wrestling fans, but I don't know, man. I mean, granted, I didn't jump on it, but I already participated in my own crowdfund, and my wife's only going to give me so many green lights throughout the year to go ahead and do something. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to take advantage of it, especially when Eternia is almost paid off. But, I mean, it's kind of disappointing that for all these wrestling fans, regardless of the generation, whether you were into it in the 80s or the 90s or the 2010s or the 2010s to 20s or right now, you know what I mean? There's no reason why this WCW Nitro crowdfund didn't go through. I mean, maybe if they would have put out the ring first, So if you already had the Elite Ultimate Edition WCW ring and then you put out the Nitro stage set, then it would be more, you know, it would be more likely to succeed. Plus the character selection wasn't the greatest, you know what I mean? I don't know if anybody out there is really begging for an Ultimate Warrior figure that's rocking jeans and a fucking duster, as I'm sitting here shitting on the Ultimate Warrior while an Ultimate Warrior figure is right beside me. But we'll get to that in a moment. But basically, they're putting out the Mega Eternia, right? So not only did I crowdfund the big boy version that comes out next year, but now I get to build my own little mini Eternia in the Mega Construct, Mega Blocks, Mega Scale, excuse me. And I'm going to have this one, like, you know what I mean, like on display probably in the basement studio and whatnot. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But I know it's going to be a future bonus episode for Patreon subscribers. So Eternia goes live at noon today, 9 o'clock Pacific time. However, it's 12 o'clock on the East Coast. So I got my little timer set for Eternia, and that's going to be pretty fucking sick. So at some point during this episode, I'm going to take a little break where I'm going to be like, oh, it's almost Eternia time, I got to go. And then I'm going to edit that shit, and I'll be right back. And I'll let y'all know by the end of the episode today whether or not I'm successful or unsuccessful in trying to get one of these Mega Eternias. I mean, it really shouldn't be that bad, considering the only other Mega Masters of the Universe set that I've purchased was the 2022 San Diego Comic-Con, the Transformation Bridge Castle Grayskull. You know, that was an exclusive for Comic-Con, but Mattel Creations had it on their website. I bought mine like 2 weeks after Comic-Con, and it was still available on Mattel Creations. So I don't think this Eternia is going to sell out in like 5 minutes. I think it should be easy peasy for me to get one, especially considering the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive was not a problem for me to grab. But there are a lot of people that didn't jump on Eternia, and considering this little build-your-own Eternia is way more affordable than the big boy version for Origins, some people it may be more popular than I'm anticipating it to be. I mean, I'm ecstatic by it because basically what they're doing is they're putting out Mega Eternia, but I'm not getting the Mega 3 towers with the monorail. I'm getting just Central Tower. Because what they're doing with Eternia is they are putting it out, allegedly. So far they've only announced Central Tower, which is the blue tower with the lion face, with the lion paws, and that's the first Eternia set that's coming out. So basically, you got the main house, and now I just need to wait for the garage and the party barn to be built. You know what I'm saying? The party barn and the garage being Grayskull Tower and Viper Tower, because now I'm going to put the box up on the screen right now of what I'm going for. Now this box is based off the vintage 80s original Eternia art, and it looks pretty fucking sick in Mega Block form. But as you can see, there's the blue tower, but at the top there's 4 track supports that are coming off the top for the monorail track. This thing wouldn't be coming with monorail supports if they weren't planning on putting out the other 2 towers. I don't know when they're coming out with Grayskull Tower or Viper Tower, but at some point I'm assuming that the other 2 towers for this Mega Eternia is going to come out, and I believe the monorail tracks are going to come only with the other 2 towers. So if you miss out on this one, and you only get the other 2, you're really not going to be able to connect all your freaking tracks together because you're missing the centerpiece of the display. But we'll know when the time is right if in fact I'm successful with this Eternia, but I'm geeked as hell about it. But yeah, like I said, today on the show, I'm not going to be opening any toys or anything for the Patreon subscribers, I am going to be opening up something my wife grabbed me last week. And it's actually kind of funny because I've been into the WWE Elites and the Ultimate Editions more. I had the Hulk Hogan figure that my daughter's boyfriend gave me, and I have my '92 Shawn Michaels and my I pre-ordered an Ultimate Edition Bret the Hitman Hart figure that comes in this same type of box that this Ultimate Warrior figure is in, and like I said, I'm gonna get to him in a second. Basically, I've been buying more of the WWE Elite figures. I got the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns that I opened up. But basically, I've been paying attention a lot more to the WWE figures, especially if I'm going on toy hunts and I'm not seeing anything new for Origins or even anything new for Masterverse on the shelves or on sale, you know what I mean? Usually if it's the same peg warmers like Naked Stratos or fucking Andra or whatnot, you know what I mean? I'll just like look at something else. And I've been checking out the WWE figures a lot more, and I picked up a few. Like I managed to find the Paulie Dangerously figure with his Zach Morris cell phone. I was able to find Stunning Steve Austin rocking the old WCW Television Championship. So basically, with the Stunning Steve Austin, come to find out that he's in a line of WWE Elite Series 100, which all the figures in the wave, they're all champions. They all come with belts, and it commemorates a certain title win. And the WCW Television Championship was Stunning Steve Austin, who would become Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was his very first title that he won in WCW, so he came with that belt, and that belt is dope as fuck. And honestly, that old WCW Television Championship is the reason why All Elite Wrestling has the AEW TNT Championship, paying homage to what used to be the Television Championship, even though they, I guess for legal reasons, they can't call it the Television Championship, but it's the TNT title. But basically, looking at the back of the cross sale art, looking at the other figures in that line, or that wave, one of the figures was the 2005 John Cena. It was the Word Life John Cena that has the chain around his neck with the lock, and he has the spinner belt. And honestly, I don't have the budget to go out and buy replica wrestling belts like a lot of people, but when it comes to these action figures, I'm a belt mark for the little replica versions for the action figures. Like I bought Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns came with the blue strap, depending on what you want to call it at the time. It could have been the Universal Championship. It could have been the WWE title. Actually, I think it's the Universal title. But yeah, because the Universal title was blue strap for SmackDown, red strap for Raw, and the WWE Championship was the black strap. So my Roman Reigns came with the Universal Championship. So I was looking for that Cena with the spinner belt. They didn't have Cena with the spinner belt, but Amber was at Target, my wife, and my wife was looking at all the figures because my wife works out of town, and there's a Target near her work, and she goes to the out-of-town Target to see what their selection is. So I got another Target to hit up, even though I'm not physically there to hit it up. My wife will go and do my dirty work. So Amber will go to Target, and Amber was like telling me what they had, and she's like, yeah, they have Bobby Lashley. And I'm like, does he come with a belt? Because I saw Bobby Lashley with the WWE title at my Target when I grabbed the Roman Reigns. And nothing against Bobby Lashley by any means, but Bobby Lashley's not one of my dudes. You know what I mean? I don't watch wrestling to watch Bobby Lashley, even though he's a great wrestler. You know what I mean? He's just not one of the guys I watch. And it's nothing personal against Bobby Lashley. But basically, Amber's like, yeah, they got Bobby Lashley. I go, does he come with a belt? She goes, yeah, he's got the WWE title. And I go, is it the black strap version? And she goes, yes. Now, assuming that's the only version of the belt that Bobby Lashley won, just for the purpose of the faction, I just wanted to make sure. So I told her to grab the Bobby Lashley figure. And it was funny because she got him and she brought him home, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. I opened him up, took Bobby Lashley. I let Bobby Lashley in the package. I took Bobby Lashley out of the friggin' package, took the belt off Bobby Lashley, put Bobby Lashley back in the box, back in his plastic, put him back in the box, and my wife's like, really? I'm like, yeah, you didn't buy me a Bobby Lashley figure that came with a replica WWE Championship. You bought me a little replica WWE Championship that happened to come with a Bobby Lashley figure. I only wanted that fucking WWE title so I could put it on fucking Roman. So now my Roman Reigns on my shelf is wearing the Universal title around his waist, and he's holding that WWE Championship up on his shoulder where it belongs. So I got both of those belts, but I got plans for that Bobby Lashley figure, and I'm going to explain what my plans of the Bobby Lashley figure is. Basically, well, I was looking locally in my own Target for that John Cena, because basically I saw him available the week I grabbed the Stunning Steve Austin. And then when I went back last week to see if they had John Cena, they didn't have John Cena with the Word Life, they didn't have Word Life Cena, they had, they didn't have any of those Series 100s. And basically, I'm looking at the other Elite figures, and they did have a John Cena, but it was 20-year veteran version of John Cena that was wearing the Super Mario Brothers 3 parody t-shirt. And, I always say, let's put it this way. John Cena is the third wrestler to have that Super Mario Brothers 3 parody design. To the best of my knowledge, the other two were CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and those images have been released online and whatnot. But so basically, by the time Cena did it, I'm like, oh, so now Cena's got a version of the Daniel Bryan and CM Punk Super Mario Brothers 3 design. Well, they have John Cena in that figure, wearing that t-shirt, and I decided to grab him because he was on sale. He was $2 markdown from the regular retail price. So I grabbed him, got him home, went to work, came home from work, and, instead of coming home from work, sitting down, cracking open a beer, I'll come home from work, I'll sit down, I'll crack open an action figure, you know what I mean? So I opened up that John Cena figure, and, I decided to take him out, and son of a bitch, didn't even see it in the fucking package, but as soon as I took him out of that plastic bubble that he was popped inside, on the right side of the action figure, right on the seam, was a little seam tear. So that Super Mario Brothers 3 shirt already has a hole in it that happened before I even bought the damn thing. So I was kind of pissed off because I'm like, I could still put him on the shelf, put him on display, but honestly, it looks like shit. I bought him to look fresh, you know what I mean? I can't take cool pictures of this John Cena figure if he's got a fucking hole in his shirt. So I'm like thinking, what can I do to save this? Do I take the shirt off? You know what I mean? Do I take his shirt off and have like a shirtless Cena rocking the fucking ball cap on the shelf? But then I thought about it, because looking at my shelf and the figures that I got up there, I was looking at my Masterverse Trapjaw, and Trapjaw came in a box, deluxe box. Trapjaw came with extra accessories, including a set of his motherboard robes from the Revelation show. So what I did was, I took Trapjaw's motherboard attire, which was basically a brown, smock apron that he wears, and then he has this black and maroon, uniform church, you know what I mean? It's I think bishop attire, you know what I mean? Black and maroon, Pope gear. So you put this ornamental dressing over the fucking brown smock, and then he comes with a belt that goes around his waist and holds everything in place. So what I did was, I took that stuff, and I put that brown smock over the John Cena figure. I left him wearing the black t-shirt with the hole on the side and whatnot. So I put that brown smock over the John Cena, popped his head off, and then I put the black and maroon over the neck peg, so it's going down his front and his chest and his back, and popped the John Cena head back on, and then I put that belt on, and I decided to make this John Cena with the damaged shirt a converted member of the motherboard. So I basically turned the Doctor of Thugonomics into Word to Your Motherboard. It's a win. So when at some point on this show, when I open Triclops, you can bet your ass that Bobby Lashley is going in the motherboard garb that comes with Triclops. So I'm going to have John Cena and Bobby Lashley. I'm going to have Word to Your Motherboard, and I'm going to have Bobby Motherboard up there on the shelf alongside Skeletor and his evil fucking warriors. But I've wasted enough time talking about bullshit. Let's talk about some comic books. Alright, the meat and potatoes of this episode, since I don't have any toys to open, is my pile of free comic book day swag that I got this past weekend, even though I didn't personally get it myself. So with that said, I want to personally shout out and thank Excite Wrestling Senior Official Frank Sassano for going above and beyond for me, because I made a post on my Facebook page. Hey y'all, I gotta go to Ithaca for work. I'm not getting out until like 2 o'clock. So if anybody I know that is participating or going to Free Comic Book Day, can y'all do me a favor and just grab an extra one of anything they're giving out? And I want to talk about it on the show, and I will shout out whoever hooks me up. So Frankie Sassano came through for me, so thank you very much, Frank. I truly appreciate it, because Frank Sassano is personally responsible for this episode of Ian versus Daddybones. So considering I have 15 minutes to kill until I have to go see if in fact I'm gonna get this Mega Eternia, let's get fucking started. Starting with my first pile, because I broke everything. It was a big ass fucking pile. I went to the wrestling show at the Oakdale Commons. Excite Wrestling had a show, so I went out there to support my brothers, shake hands, give hugs, and tell everybody how much I miss them, because I don't get to be a part of wrestling that much anymore, and I think it fucking sucks. But it's the little things like this that make me appreciate everything. And Frank let me know that he took care of me, and asked if I was coming to the show, and if I was, we could meet up then, and he could give me the comics. So I went to the wrestling show, and watched the first half of the show, and then when we went to intermission, Frank and I took a moment to walk out to his car, and it was funny because Frank had like a stack like this, and then next thing I know, it became a stack like that, because like half of that stack was fucking mine. So Frank just basically, it's like he had a freaking stack of baseball cards. Got it, don't need it, got it, don't need it, got it, doubles, you know what I mean? So he kept the pile, made me a pile, and at the end of the day, it was a high five, and thank you, my guy. So starting off, I got a free issue of The Umbrella Academy. I gotta say, while I personally haven't read any issues of The Umbrella Academy, I honestly have been very aware ever since its existence and its announcement, because I remember when the internet first said that Gerard Way was stepping away from music for a little bit to focus on doing a comic book. I thought, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool and whatnot, and then it became the Netflix series, so I started watching Umbrella Academy, and I've been a fan of Umbrella Academy. I think it's a pretty decent show, and it's kind of weird because it's like there's certain things, and it's funny with like shows in the past 10 years or whatnot to me, because it's like I'm familiar with actresses and actors and shit and child actors from like the 80s and shit who grew up to be fucking adults now, you know what I mean? Like I remember Leonardo DiCaprio when he was new on Growing Pains as like a guest character who became part of the full cast, and now he's a freaking, you know, top shelf Hollywood actor, freaking groomer of young girls and whatever the fuck. But, you know, so it's like, I'm familiar with, like, all these actresses and actors from, like, my time, but then you have, like, new actors and actresses that some of them I get introduced to based on, like, Disney Channel and Nickelodeon shows that my kids have watched. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the actor who plays number 5 on Umbrella Academy, I know from this Nickelodeon show that my daughter Natalia watched on Netflix called fucking, oh god, they're fucking siblings. Like, I know Nikki and Ricky are a part of it. Nikki, Ricky, Dawn, something like that. But I know he was from that show. So when it's like when I watched Umbrella Academy for the first time, I'm like, hey, that's that kid from that fucking show. You know what I mean? Now I'm doing the Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, hey, I know him. So, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like fucking Umbrella Academy, I think, has been an amazing series. But moving on, we got Archie Horror Presents The Cursed Library. I don't know. Personally, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I always thought Archie was, like, super fucking lame. Like, growing up. Like they have, freaking, you know, like, Archie comics, Archie cartoons and whatnot. The new Archies or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I've always been aware of Archie and Jughead and Betty and Veronica. I mean, honestly, you know what I mean? I mean, honestly, on one hand, Archie's a boss. I mean, he's banging both Betty and Veronica. I mean, who the fuck wouldn't want to bang 2 chicks? You know what I mean? But I know that Archie has been doing, like, mature stuff within the comics over the years. And this is apparently a horror-themed Archie comic. Now, it's kind of weird because it's, like, new to me, even though I've, like Umbrella Academy, I've been familiar with, like, Riverdale and shit, and how, you know, to me, like, I grew up with 90210 and Melrose Place, and I even remember back when Amber and I first got together, when everybody was raving about the OC on Fox, and you know what I mean? So the fact that they were able to take Archie comics and turn that into a fucking dark and gritty Melrose Place style drama is just fucking, it's fucking weird to me. But it's awesome that how they were able to make it work, even though I don't watch Riverdale. But I'm aware of it. And that's the thing with geekdom, nerddom, fandom, and whatnot. Just because you're not into something doesn't mean you're not aware of it. This Free Comic Book Day, Chojin X. And it says, also featuring an excerpt from Rooster Fighter. I know nothing about this. So, if you want to educate me more and you know what this is, leave a comment on the YouTube page. RuneScape, Untold Tales of the God Wars. Right? It said God Wars? Yep. Now, again, I'm familiar with RuneScape to a degree. I mean, on one hand, I want to say it's a cell phone game. On the other hand, it's a card game or what? I'm really not sure. Like I said, I'm aware of it, not really fully aware of it, but I'm pretty sure it's something I could download on my phone. But again, if I'm wrong, let me know. Star Trek. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about Star Trek. Never did. We watch Star Wars in my house. Free Comic Book Day. Seismic Stories. I know nothing about it. But again, that's the point of Free Comic Book Day. Checking out shit you're not used to. You know what I mean? Read it. They gave it to you for free. You might as well learn something. You might find something you like. Kato Katora, Free Comic Book Day. This looks pretty dope and Disney-like. I mean, I know nothing about this character, even though I know I've seen him before. Francine Pascal's Sweet Valley Twins. I mean, I remember the Sweet Valley Twins books when girls were buying them at book fairs in school and shit. Like back when like R.L. Stine was putting out like fucking Fear Street and writing other little horror books before Goosebumps. And this one, I told Natalia she can have this. My daughter Natalia, she can have this when I get home. But it's called Babysitter's Little Sister, Karen's Haircut. It Katie feels like an ugly duckling. She already has to wear glasses, and now her baby teeth are starting to come out. Oh, okay, so it's like it's another comic book aimed at girls going through puberty, or just girls growing up in general. It may not have anything to do with, you know, puberty or periods, but just growing up in general. But there's the first little mini pile of my free comic book day swag. Moving on to the second pile, and as I glance at my timer, I got 8 minutes until my alarm's gonna go off, and the show's about to start. When it comes to the Eternia drop and the rat race begins, if it's a rat race, I always refer to it as a rat race whenever it's like a new Origins figure going down. You know what I mean? Like when Skeletor or Frogmonger were about to drop, like they were sold out. Sometimes they sell out in 5 minutes. Sometimes they sell out in 10 minutes. Sometimes Mattel fucks it up on their end completely, and there's a whole fucking glitch, and it just says sold out across the board, and some people were able to get them, but the majority didn't get them because they had a hiccup in their system. But yeah, I don't necessarily know if this is going to be a rat race or not. It shouldn't be a problem. But moving on to the second pile. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Can't go wrong with a free issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And on the back, it's advertising The Last Ronin, which I haven't read. However, I subscribe to another YouTube channel, Comic Historian, and there's all sorts of videos about The Last Ronin. So I've actually went through the meat and potatoes of the story through Comic Historian, reading it to me as I listen to it while I'm at work and shit, and I actually look forward to picking that up in its entirety someday. But yeah, Ninja Turtles, moving on, The Last Comics on Earth, issue number 0. Like I know nothing about this, new to me, I'll have to check it out. Free Comic Book Day, Investigators. I mean, it looks like it's pretty self-explanatory. They're alligator detectives. I have to check that out. Now this is an issue of 2 stories. The first story is called Clark and Lex, which is a special preview of a young Superman graphic novel. And at the on the other side is Fan Club Batman Squad, the justice of all. And on the back it says Bruce Wayne, not super. So now, like I said, I'm aware of things. You know what I mean? I just look at it. I'm not, when it comes to comics, I've never been much of a DC guy, with the exception of Batman. You know what I mean? But this is where I get confused with DC, because it's like you got Smallville as a television series, so it's like you got Superman as a teenager, Lex Luthor as a teenager. I almost said Lex Luger, but you know, I feel like this type of stuff's already been done before, but it is what it is. I mean, it's not aimed at me, so I don't look like I don't. It doesn't seem like something that would interest me, but Fan Club, Batman Squad, I don't know. It looks like it could be kind of, it looks like it could be, just flipping through it real quick, it looks like something silly, funny, dumb. My kids may enjoy it. You know what I mean? But like I said, these are obviously aimed at children and teenagers, so of course they're meant for my kids. But moving on, this is actually pretty dope, I'm not going to lie. Smurfs. 65th anniversary. Now, when I was growing up, Smurfs were popular. Whether it was little plastic figurines, or it was a Saturday morning cartoon with the whole la 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 la. You know what I mean? You had the Smurfs theme and shit, and that was that. And it was popular, you know. But at some point, it kind of died off and whatnot, and like I don't really remember people going out of their way talking about the Smurfs much in the 90s, but I know that when Julia was like 10 or 11 years old, I know they started coming out with you know, the CG live action crossover Smurfs movie with like Doogie Howser and shit. So, they tried bringing them back and whatnot, but the one thing that made me smile seeing this in the pile of free comics was literally, I got this from Frank Sassano on Saturday from Free Comic Book Day. Literally, that Friday, I got so sick of watching Gabby's Dollhouse that I'm looking for something new for my daughter Sadie to watch on Netflix, that I see that there's a brand new Smurf series, a CG animated Smurf series. So we started watching that on Friday, and she's already friggin' hooked to it and thinks it's amazing, which is funny because I showed this to her when I was flipping through the stack, and as soon as I showed her the Smurfs, she recognized them, she smiled, she lit up like a Christmas tree, so it's like, hey, she already recognized it. It's pretty fucking dope. But moving on, we got Marvel Voices, issue number 1. I'm not too familiar with Marvel Voices. I mean, I follow Marvel on like my social media platforms. So between stuff like Hellfire Gala and Voices, like I see these get posted and announced, but like I said, I don't normally, with everything I've been buying right now, the only comics I've been really buying has been the Dark Horse Masterverse comics and the Masters of the Universe trade backs and whatnot. But I'm familiar with this, but I'm not too knowledgeable. But I'm sure once I read this issue, I'll have a lot more to go on based on what it is. But moving on, we got a Spider-Man and Venom story, which is also advertising Spider-Man 2099 Dark Genesis issue number 1. So it looks like there's a 2099 version of Carnage, so that looks pretty fucking dope. This I'm actually interested in reading. It's a sneak peek of the first graphic biography of Marvel legend Stan Lee from Eisner-nominated comics creator Tom Scioli. And the saga continues in I Am Stan, on sale September 12, 2023. So, it's a graphic biography of Stan Lee. Moving on, we got Uncanny Avengers, issue number 1. Again, something I grew up on X-Men and Avengers, so as soon as whenever I hear Uncanny, it always goes to Uncanny X-Men. But you got Uncanny Avengers, issue number 1. It's got Rogue, it's got Professor X, it's got Deadpool, Quicksilver, Psylocke, Captain America, and honestly, it actually has a character I'm not too familiar with, so that gives me a reason to read the fucking issue so I know who the hell she is, because it looks like a female, but I don't know what she identifies as. I don't want to be disrespectful and rude, so I'll have to read the fucking issue and I'll get back to y'all. But moving on, because I got almost just over a minute left before I gotta go. Free Comic Book Day, Street Fighter 6, issue number 0. I gotta say, I grew up with Street Fighter 2. I got many childhood memories of playing Street Fighter 2 in various arcades, whether it was at the Clifton Country Mall, Aladdin's Castle, at the Oakdale Mall, or even while I was waiting for my Greyhound bus to show up at the Schenectady bus terminal when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. They always had that Street Fighter machine at the bus station while I was waiting to go to my dad's for the weekend. Moving on, Animal Castle Volume 2. I got no fucking idea. Looking on, Mech Cadets. Again, I got no fucking idea. But with that said, let's go see if I win the rat race. Alright, we're officially back. I can officially say success. We managed to get one of the Mega Eternia playsets, and it should be shipping out at some point soon. So, not only did I acquire that, but I am guaranteed a future bonus episode on the Patreon. So give me that sweet, sweet $1. Moving on to the final stack of the Free Comic Book Day swag, we got Dawn of DC Night Terrors. Now, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of DC, but I like me some Batman. I'm down with Superman. You know what I mean? Wonder Woman, she's part of the squad. You know what I mean? I'm familiar with basic DC. You know what I mean? It's like Marvel. You know, I like Spider-Man, I like X-Men, I like the Avengers. But when I was a kid, like, I wasn't really into the Kree-Skrull War. You know what I mean? I wasn't into the cosmic space shit when it came to Marvel comics. Like, I'm about X-Men and Spider-Man. I didn't really care for Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? So it's like, of all the like random DC characters, I really like Mr. Mxyzptlk, and I like Booster Gold. But I will say that fucking Blue Beetle trailer looks fucking sick. Especially with What's-His-Nuts from Cobra Kai in it. Fucking Miguel from Cobra Kai's in this shit. It looks fucking epic. But Dawn of DC Night Terrors, it's obviously one of the DC horror themed stories. And I mean, I'm familiar with Deceased and whatnot, and like somewhat familiar with Batman metal, you know what I mean? But I'm not, I am from like, you know, the comic historian, like Cliff Notes version, but I'll have to give that a look and check it out. But moving on, I was excited about this because this is one of my wife's favorite things in the world. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Battle for the Pumpkin King, and we also got, oh God, what the fuck? I don't even know how to pronounce this. I really don't know how to fucking pronounce this. It's the way I got verse at the end. What the hell is it called? Death Dealer Enter the Norseman. That's not what it says on the fucking cover. That is not what it says on the cover. Holy shit! There, look at that. I can't show this, but YouTube, because YouTube will probably like yell at me. But there's some titties in Bush. I may have to check that out later. Nice little spit on the hand, and check that out later. But moving on, we got Conan the Barbarian. Which, if Mattel got the Conan license, there probably wouldn't be Masters of the Universe. So, thank God they didn't. Moving on, Shadow Man, Dark Legacy. Could be interesting. The only thing I know about fucking Shadow Man was the Nintendo 64 game based on the comic book character that I didn't read about then and I haven't read about since. Tom Holland's Fright Night. Horror comics are always great. And we got The Sacrificers. I know nothing about it. I see somebody blue on the front with like a little bird beak. So it's like, I don't know. I see this cover and all I think, the first thing that comes to mind is Avatar if it was birds. Then you got Punch Up. Not too familiar with it, but it says it includes exclusive 10-page preview of Brenna Thumler's Lights. Then we got West of Sundown. There's an angry bitch in the corner. So, a beautiful vampire must flee monster slayers in New York City and reclaim the ancestral soil that restores her undead flesh. Looks interesting. Fish Flies. I got no fucking clue. Crime Buster. Aren't they all? Aren't all superheroes crime busters? I'm gonna have to check that out. Moving on. Star Wars, The High Republic Adventures. Always down for a good Star Wars comic. Can't complain. Ranger Academy. Okay, just based on the fucking cover alone, it looks like this comic book is basically Power Rangers University. Over here we got Shaman King Flowers, which is presented in manga style, opening it and reading it from right to left. Also, the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. I know nothing about this, but it looks like they at least have 4 collected volumes. Now in print, Fantagraphics is pleased to present more freaky fun. Have to check that out. And wrapping it up, well, not wrapping it up, there was one more Free Comic Book Day comic. Actually, 2 Free Comic Book Day comics that are not in this pile. They're at my house because I gave them to my daughter Natalia because she was having a rough day yesterday. I wound up giving her this Lois Lane Stories comic book, and my daughter Sadie, they just put out a new show on Disney Plus where it's like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, but it's not Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. It's like a little chibi version of Peter Parker Spider-Man, Gwen Stacy, Ghost Spider, and Miles Morales, who for some fucking reason they call Spin in this series. They decided to put that Spidey and Friends got a Free Comic Book Day issue, which I gave to Sadie to check out, and she immediately recognized it like she did the Smurfs cover. She pointed right at it and smiled. But yeah, within 5 minutes she completely destroyed that, so I totally should not have physically let her hold that at all. She does not do well with comic books. But wrapping it up, we got an issue that's rated Teen Plus. So there may be some boobs in this, but we got an issue of Red Sonja. So that's my stack of Free Comic Book Day swag. So again, I want to thank Excite Wrestling Senior Official Frank Sassano for coming through for me and hooking me up with the Free Comic Book Day swag. And special thank you to everybody at Soundaround, because that's where Frank was able to get these comics from. Soundaround goes out of their way each and every year for Free Comic Book Day, and it fucking sucks that I never get to jump on that shit because I'm always stuck working the weekends and whatnot. And there's been, for years, I've always missed out on Free Comic Book Day because of working the weekends. But this year I was actually able to get something from it, so I'm very thankful and grateful for that. Like I said, Soundaround, and in addition, Fat Cat Comics too locally. They had their own Free Comic Book Day festivities going down. I know local artists like Brandon McGinley and Joe Holly were at different locations, and both of them are artists and comic artists, and both of them were doing sketches and whatnot. There was a lot of people that were dressing up in cosplay, including a lot of the Excite wrestlers, and it looked like it was a lot of fun. And I know Justin Cosplay, actually from what I heard, dude dropped $2,000 on an authentic fucking Deadpool costume. I saw him opening the shit on Facebook, and holy crap, that thing looked impressive. He put on pictures of him wearing that shit in full Deadpool gear. Looked fucking super impressive. And even everybody that was there at Free Comic Book Day, seeing him rocking this in person, including Hybrid Shankar, was like, dude, that shit definitely looked like he got his money's worth. That thing was phenomenal. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got some bonus footage to film for the Patreon subscribers. I'm going to be opening up this WWE Ultimate Edition Ultimate Warrior figure, which in fact is the WrestleMania 7 Ultimate Warrior. So there's a story behind that. I'm going to save that for the Patreon subscribers, but for everybody, smash that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. We're trying to fucking grow. Buddy Misters and Natalia seriously want to see Daddy earn a silver YouTube plaque, so let's make that shit happen. If you want to go above and beyond and take that extra step, head on over to the Patreon. Whip it out, big boy. And I'm talking about your debit card. Smash that fucking subscribe. Throw me that $1 to get your name in the credits and get 30 days of bonus content. And until next time, cheers, Pete!
roast guy. Epic roast guy. Epic roast guy. Epic roast guy.